In today's video, I'm going to show you how to get rid of poison ivy or thorns in your yard. Now this is a commonly asked question that I get, and what you're seeing right here is the way most people deal with it, and this is probably the worst thing you can do. So in this video, I'm going to show you the technique that I use that is much easier, safer, and it just really is a better way to do it. You need to know a little bit about your enemy, and in this case that's poison ivy and thorns. Now they can be tough, but I'm going to show you how it can be easy to get rid of them. But first, they are totally different plants. The only reason they're in this video together is because you can get rid of both of them using the same technique that I'm going to show you. But you need to keep in mind that poison ivy is in fact poisonous, and it can cause serious reactions for a lot of people. So even though this works for me, you've got to use your own judgment when proceeding with this because it may not work in your situation. Now I'm going to start by assuming that you already know you've got an issue with some type of poison ivy, poison oak, or poison sumac. Now thorns are very easy to identify, so now let's talk about why people have so many problems getting rid of them. It doesn't work because people just get too close to the plant, and if you try to use something like a weed whacker or even burn it, those can be the worst things you can do because they spread that oil that's in the plant around, and that will just get everywhere. So we need a way to get rid of this plant that keeps us at a safe distance and actually works. And chemical treatments aren't going to solve this problem because, as you're seeing here, many thorns and even things like poison ivy love to attach themselves to trees. The thorns have grown within this azalea, so if you're going to try to use a chemical, you're going to end up killing both plants. So how do we get rid of these plants, keep us at a safe distance without using chemicals? This is a special tool that is going to allow us to get to the base or the root of the problem. And when it comes to things like thorns and poison ivy, the best way in my experience to get rid of those plants is to cut them right at the base of the plant. Now as we're looking at this jungle right here, you might be thinking, how the heck am I going to get in there without getting the poison ivy or thorns all over me? Well, that's where this tool comes into play. This tool is going to allow you to cut these plants at their base, but keep you at a distance that's so far away, you're going to be much safer than any other method. And now as I step back, you can see the whole process in action. What I'm holding is not a pole saw. In fact, it's very different because there's no saw blade in the end to get in the way. And as you can see, this is exactly what you want to do. Using this tool, you want to cut thorns and poison ivy at their base, because once you make this single cut, every bit of the plant above is going to die within probably a day to a week, and this is the first step in getting rid of these things. Now if you're looking at this area thinking, wow, it's a huge area, it's going to take a lifetime to finish, it doesn't, because this one cut takes about a second, and that cut is going to prevent any more growth, and this is the first step in getting rid of these dangerous plants. This has been the best way possible because I can grab the tool when I want, cut as little or as much as I want, and it doesn't require mixing or anything toxic to spray on these plants. Now this is going to eliminate the plant from any future growth, and you want to come back to the area because it is going to try to regrow. But these things do not grow as fast as you think. In most cases, they're left for years to grow wild. So once you start cutting them, you'll be amazed at what a difference and a decrease you'll see in those plant populations. So now that you've killed all the top growth, what happens to what you've cut? Now thorns are going to be just as sharp, and poison ivy can actually still be poisonous even after it's cut for up to 5 years. So you still have to handle what's left very carefully. But in my practical experience, I cut the stuff down one season, and then the second season I'll go back, and that's usually in the spring, and I'll cut anything that's left using the same tool into smaller and smaller pieces. Now usually these plants are going to grow on the outskirts of your yard, so you can tend to leave those pieces there and just kind of let them decompose. And here's the tool I used. This one's made by Fiskars and it's called a Power Stroke pruning stick. Now I think that's a lousy name for what it is, but the tool itself is awesome. Most of the professional versions of these things cost $200 to $300. This thing is way less than that, and it does a great job. But like all tools that cut, it has one flaw. If the blade goes dull, it just doesn't work as well. And earlier this year, I found a sharpening tool made by the company Sharpall that allows you to sharpen a pruning blade like this really easily and without any equipment other than this handheld tool. You just run this thing along the blade a few times, and somehow this tool makes this thing like brand new with just a few strokes. So I really like this thing because you can use it on this and other tools, but on these pruning blades, it just works phenomenally well. So these two things together give you a tool arsenal that's going to let you cut down any kind of ivy, branches, thorns, or whatever you have in your yard. But I like it because it's a single tool, but it does multiple jobs. Many people suffer with thorns and poison ivy and they just don't know what to do about it. And this technique has just been a real game changer for me. It's fast, easy, and most importantly, it keeps you safe when you're doing this job. So I hope you liked this video, maybe gave you a different option to clear these troublesome plants from your property. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and stay tuned for more videos coming up.